Hello everybody, Swanner Rich here with a vinyl finds video. I have 4 albums I bought online and 4 I bought at Going Underground Records. Before I start though, somebody commented on my shirt, my Edge shirt of U2 on a prior video. This is actually not the Edge, it's Bro Schmo. He has a YouTube channel that deals with football and the football NFL draft and that kind of stuff. And I also wanted to mention my last video. This album was featured, Surf MCs. And it was the final 10 questions. It might be the best video I've ever made. At least I thought so. And then today I watched Robert Fithen's entry, and it put mine to shame. Anyways, on to the records. First one is Antidote. It's on one of my favorite labels, reissue label, Radio Raheem. This is fantastic, man. This dude here, I think he's a Puerto Rican dude with a mustache, man. Fronting a hardcore punk rock band. Fantastic stuff. It's from stuff from 82 to 83. Probably all their early recordings. It contains their EP, I think their only EP, which is this is the cover of. Has 1982 demos, and then side B is a live gig at CBGB's from June of 83. And man, I must say, the CBGB's live, a lot of the live material, not all of it, but a lot of it is pretty well recorded. I wish, man, there were some late 70s, early 80s Mask from Hollywood or whiskey gigs, man, but I don't find them. Anyways, this is hard-hitting stuff. It's not for everybody. People that think thrash metal came out of nowhere, you need to listen to bands like this, man. These guys were killing it. This came out around the same time as Kill 'Em All, and it's just as hard-hitting. The singer's better, quite frankly. And as always, these Radio Raheem records have these nice books with words and pictures. I'm not going to go through the whole thing, but yeah, they're usually pretty cool. Not your stereotypical front man. Yeah, there's their EP. Really good stuff. And not a lot of the songs are redone. You know, there's a couple, Life is One and Diet War. There's a couple of different versions, but for the most part, it's all different stuff. It came with a sticker. Antidote. I'll put that on my skateboard. And really nice record on polyline sleeves. Now this next one I bought online, it's a record from the Acid Archives, and it's Stone Harbor Emerges is the name of the album. This is a pretty recent reissue, 2019, of an album that only 500 were made, and they sell for thousands. And yeah, it's basically a two-man operation. You got Rick Ballas, who plays electric, acoustic, and slide guitars, organ, piano, synthesizer, bass guitar, percussion, and voice. And then you got the other guy, Dave McCarty, who does the lead vocals, drums, and percussion. Now this guy here, Rick, the first one that plays most of the instruments, he had a 4-track recorder. And so they were, able to lay these demos down. They went to a studio, I think, and I don't know if I think they put them down to 2 tracks, and then they may have added more stuff, something like that. But it was released in '74. It's very lo-fi. The vocals are kind of... The guy actually has a decent voice, but it gets overwhelmed. They're not out front. And then like the last song is a really loud guitar heavy song. The vocals get kind of drowned out even. But yeah, it's a pretty cool album. It's not hi-fi. It's got some really cool instrumentals. The guitars in it and the feedback stuff that he uses is pretty cool. Yeah, if you like that acid archive stuff, I recommend this. Now, Randy Deadwax 66 probably owns an original, you know. And it's on this pretty cool Outsider label. I have a couple of records on this label. And again, nice polyline sleeves. And it came with this insert. And here's the 2 guys. Pretty good picture of the 2 guys. And I think they ended up getting a couple of more guys, and they did do some gigging, but nothing came of it. Now on to the 4 albums I got at Going Underground Records. First one here is SRC. It's a used album. It came out in 1968, and it's a pretty good copy. I mean, there's a little bit of wear here, but for the most part, it's pretty darn good. A little bit here. I could clean that up. A brother plays the lead guitar, and another brother plays the keyboard, the organs, and there's some really good interplay between the two. This is a pretty good, kind of a heavy psych sound. And I've seen this out. I know Randy Deadwax 66 has this. I've streamed this before, so I was kind of familiar with it. But man, I must say the listening to it on record, on the vinyl, it just blew me away at how good it is, how good it sounds. It starts out with Black Sheep. Check that song out, dude. And it'll give you an idea. But yeah, really good 60s, kind of psychedelic, pretty hard. But yeah, I don't know, man. Another great record from Detroit, you know. And it's on Capitol. I don't think I mentioned that. Yeah, 1968. Now, as good as that used record was, this one blew me away. It's fantastic. And it's the first record I have by this artist. And it's The Birthday Club, which was Nick Cave's band. I thought this was their first album. It turns out this is their 3rd release. I think their 3rd and final. And then he went on to Nick Cave and the Black Seeds. Now, I don't have any Nick Cave and the Black Seeds. I did see them live once. And I think they were either opening for L7 or Sonic Youth at the Hollywood Palladium. It was one of the two. I don't remember. And they were okay. I didn't like the vocal delivery, you know. But on here, man, it's fantastic. It's a goth record. I don't care what anybody says. Kind of post-punk, what people call post-punk. You know, I think post-punk is punk, but just to give you an idea how it sounds, it's what people would call post-punk, but very gothy. It sounds, you can hear like Gun Club vibe in it, you know, the rootsy stuff of Gun Club, but you can also hear like bands like Christian Death in it too, with the sound of the guitars. And yeah, I was blown away at how good this is, man. I'm gonna have to explore some more Nick Cave, you know. If there's any good Nick Cave and the Bad Seeds albums, let me know. Yeah, I was blown away. This is the original inner sleeve with the lyrics, and the lyrics are pretty good, man. Yeah, I guess some people would say they're disturbing, but I loved them. Then it's on 4AD Records, which is a great label out of the UK. The Australian versions, I don't recall what label. Now, this album here, I saw, it was used. I think it's a new version, though, of the album. Maybe a reissue. Yeah, it's back music on vinyl version. But it was opened. I mean, it doesn't have the shrink. Didn't have the shrink. So somebody bought it, didn't like it, apparently. It sounds like unplayed. It's almost basically a new album, as you can tell. And I remember when this came out, I bought it on cassette. And I didn't like it. It was too metal for me. And I thought, you know what? I'm starting to get some metal stuff. So let me check it out. It wasn't that much. And it starts off with Suicidal Maniac. Mike Muir's vocals on that are fucking fantastic, man. The dude was a great vocalist. Much better than the Anthrax and the Metallicas of the world. The dude could sing. And side one ends with War Inside My Head. Now, I remember that song from the early days, when their first album came out. They were doing that song, But overall, I was blown away. I really liked it, especially side one. I loved the flow of the songs on side one. It's got a little bit of a kind of predictable thrash metal leanings, but overall, man, I was very impressed with this album. It's not as good as, I don't like it as much as the first, but I do like it. Oh, and it has an insert coming out here. I didn't even realize that. Words. And one of those photo collages that are pretty much pointless. And I didn't realize this was in there either. Somebody saved the hype sticker. So that's pretty cool. And the record is another polyline sleeve. And yeah. I'm not touching the record. Don't get crazy. And another album. This one was new. And it's 45 Grave, A Devil's Possessions, Demos and Live Stuff, 1980 through 81. I thought this might have been a bootleg, but it's not. It's released on Cleopatra Records, which released, I think, their later album. This, it isn't a starting point for 45 Grave, but I don't know which album of theirs is, I did a video of my 45 Grave collection, and it didn't get a lot of views, so I guess there's not a lot of 45 Grave fans that watch my videos. But saying that, of all the punk bands from LA, or just in general, these guys might have been some of the best musicians in the genre. They're a punk band, they're early goth, and this is pretty good, man. The demos are pretty decent. I mean, they're not terrible. They're not audiophile. The live stuff, it's not like the Allman Brothers, the Fillmore quality, but it's not bad bootleg quality either. And yeah, I was pretty cool. It's pretty cool with this. And there's some songs on here I'd never heard before, of which I can't say the name. And, oh, look at this. It's on Purdy. It's on Purdy Red. Yeah, it's a good album, man. And the thing with 45 Grave, none of their albums sounded as good as they did live. And on some of these songs, you could tell, oh, wow, this band jams, the live stuff. But I think their best stuff was the early recordings that are on Hell Comes to Your House. But now, the last two, this was a pre-order. Timmy's Organism. And this album cover, kind of similar to the other album I bought by now. I think I bought the album that came out prior to this. They were on a Detroit, Mutations from Detroit or something like that comp. And I made a comment, man, their song, the first two songs on that are just, I mean, it's a good comp, but the first two songs on side one are just blow everything else away. And this, I think they had the second song. And somebody made the comment, and the name of the channel is on the tip of my head. Sound. It's two of his favorite bands put the words put together. It makes his channel name. But anyways, this is really good. There's a couple of songs that have some keyboards in it, which gives it a little bit of a different sound. But yeah, I guess these guys have been around a long time, you know. I mean, you can tell by looking at them, they're not youngsters. In fact, yeah, this guy here's got a big head. Now, I don't know if you watched my last video. I was talking about BC channels that have big heads. And as soon as I started talking shit, man, I started coughing. And, you know, that's karma for you, dude, you know. I thought that was pretty funny. And it's on Sweet Time Records. And it's on colored vinyl. Man, this is dirty on this side. I need to put it in a new sleeve. Wow. Nah, pretty cool. And it sounds great, man. And the last one is an album that I ordered in December. I told my wife ordered these 3 albums for me. I talked about one. I dove into this one recently, and I figured, okay, it's time to talk about this one. And it's an Analog Africa record, and it's Dur Dur, a band from Somalia, of all things. And it's got their 2 albums, Volume 1 and Volume 2. Now, this is a 3-album set. So, I don't know. Yes, the last side is previously unreleased stuff. Now, it's funky. It's got a really good funky groove to it. The guitar is more like that James Brown type guitar. And the bass and the organ is really prevalent. And there are some horns. But it's a good funky album. Now the vocals are kind of have like a, this is the shrink. The vocals have like a Middle Eastern tinge to them. And my wife doesn't like it at all. She goes, what are you listening to, you know? So when I listen to this, I tend to either stream it on my Bandcamp in the backyard when I'm back there, or in the other room with headphones on. There's 3 singers. And I think it's the female one that really gets to my wife. She has that Middle Eastern, you know, yeah, it sounds exactly like that. But I dig it, man. Yeah, if you don't like that Middle Eastern, Muslim sounding vocals, you're not going to like this. But yeah, very cool. Analog Africa. A great one. It's a really good label that I've gotten into. I got one more thing to show, and it's this package that came. And holy mackerel, this thing is stuffed to the brim. I don't know if you can see the bulge in that thing? It's like, what the heck? Let me go get my knife. I should have been more prepared. Oh, Rich. Rich. I don't know where, oh, there it is. Sorry about that. I didn't even think about that. Yeah. This is from Martin. Yeah. Man, this guy's crazy, dude. Martin Jones, and he paid full postage. Dude, ship it media mail, it would have been like $4. Oh, wow. It's got a bunch of stuff. It's got this fanzine. Fall 18 Garage Punk Psych. I wonder when this came out. You used to see a lot of these kind of things, you know, back in the 80s and probably even the 90s. I don't see a date. Doesn't matter. Very cool. It's got a shirt. 3X? Man, I know I'm a fat ass, but I'm not a 3X, dude. Oh, this is cool. GayC DC. I'm gonna get my ass kicked in Bakersfield wearing this. Dirty dudes done dirt cheap. Oh my god, this is funny, dude. Oh my god. Oh, it's got a Blu-ray in here. This was $1. Owen's song is on it. Yeah, I have this House of a Thousand, what is it? House of a Thousand Corpses. It's Rob Zombie's first movie, man. The follow-up to this is the great one, though. Oh, and it's got a sticker. GayC DC. He uploaded, Martin Jones uploaded some footage of them, and it looked like a great show. Beetlejuice. Now, I guess it's like a revival place, and they're showing the film. I never liked this movie, dude. I thought it was overrated. Some more. This is old too, again, because it's got the Cramps on here. Cool. Now, Young Frankenstein. Now that's a great movie. Got a record in here. Angel City Dark Room. I mean, this looks like it would be a Styx album or something like that, you know. But you look at the guys on the back, and it looks more basic rock and roll. But I have 1980. Very cool. I'm gonna have to check that out. Of course I'm gonna check it out, but I have no idea what that is. And here's a flyer that it's got holes, staple holes. The Quasi Kings, with special guest Nova Product and Levi Brown Band. I don't know what time frame that is either. A crumpled up little advert. Got a CD. Big Neck Records. Buy more Big Neck. Probably a comp. Got a Black Flag flyer. That's pretty cool. I don't know if that's the recent incarnation. We got a record here. Got a record here that doesn't have a cover. Racy Tales by Red Fox. I like Red Fox. Now, my issue with comedy records is you listen to it once, maybe twice, 3 at the most, and then after that, you really don't feel like hearing them again, unless they're extremely good, like a Richard Pryor, you know. Another sticker. I'll put that on my skateboard. Looks like an old zine. One of them free ones from 2003. You got a Cramps. Now that's worth framing right there, dude. Respect the Dead. Oh, look at that. That's pretty fun. That is worth framing. And finally, a record. I have no idea what this is either. Photos and Ink. Photos Incorporated. Photos Incorporated Butterfly Position. Butterfly Potion. It's on wax. It's on Wax Trax, so it's probably good. I mean, everything I have on Wax Trax is, it's got a similar sound. Yeah, 1990. So yeah, I'll probably like this. So wow, that was a good package of goodies. Thank you, Martin. God, now what do I do? You know, that's the one thing about VC, you know, VCLT. You get all this stuff, and then you get all this pressure. It's this self-inflicted pressure I put on myself. Now what do I get him? Is it going to be as good? Oh, man. Oh. Take care, everybody. Go Knicks.